Baker Mayfield, according to Albert Breer, a reporter I respect, Monday Morning Quarterback, says Baker Mayfield's a first-round draft pick. Let me just first say, yes, he is. He is going to go in the first round. Absolutely going to go in the first round. But the reason he's going to go in the first round is Russell Wilson. And let me explain. The way it works in the NFL, every GM I've ever talked to, what they ask their scouts to do, this is what they ask their scouts to do. You have a regional national director of scouting, then you have regional directors of scouting, then you got the troops, the soldiers that are all watching the games. They have comps. So NFL GMs and scouting directors demand, before you scout a player, they want 3 comps. What would he be at the highest end, the lowest end, and what do you think he'll be? We never drafted with first-round picks 5'11" cocky quarterbacks who are walk-ons and play in a pillow fight conference. For a team, Oklahoma, where Sam Bradford had huge numbers, Jason White had huge numbers, this system, this conference produces quarterbacks, Baylor, Oklahoma, with massive numbers. We got a police video. We've got throwing a football to rival during pregame, TCU. Russell Wilson is the comp for him. If Russell Wilson did not exist, Johnny Manziel at 5'11" with an average arm doesn't get drafted in the first round because everybody is using Russell Wilson as a comp, and this is where I laugh. Stop using Russell Wilson as a comp. Russell Wilson ran a 4.5 40. Johnny Manziel ran a 4.75. I ran a 4.75 in high school. That doesn't make you a great athlete. Russell Wilson's an incredible athlete. Had a 34.5-inch vertical. Johnny Manziel's at 30. I almost had a 30 vertical in high school. That's not a tremendous athlete. 34, close to a stupendous athlete. Russell Wilson, Ivy League educated father. Dartmouth. Okay, maturity. He was a baseball and football prospect, Russell Wilson. People are using Russell Wilson to elevate Baker Mayfield and Johnny Manziel to the first round. Baker Mayfield's a good athlete. He's not a great athlete, and here's an example. We know that at Oklahoma, all the quarterbacks put up great numbers. Baker's are better, but Jason White put up huge numbers. Sam Bradford put up huge numbers. Here is what people aren't paying attention to. Go back to Russell Wilson's college career. I'm going to give you the quarterback numbers the year before Russell arrived and the year after. It is remarkable. 16 TDs, 6 picks, 190-yard-a-game average before him, 14 TDs, 6 picks, 157 yards, the quarterbacks on average after him. Russell Wilson walked into a conservative offense that does not throw the football in a meat and potatoes conference and put up unbelievable numbers. 33 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 230 yards a game. People are using Russell as a comp. Russell is one of the 15 greatest athletes in the history of this league. Baker Mayfield's a 4.8 40 guy who's small and cocky. Johnny Manziel's a 4.75 guy who's small, uncoachable, and cocky and had no personal discipline. I got nothing against either guy. Baker is going to make it in the first round because there's about 9 teams that need a quarterback, mostly in the AFC. But they're using a Hall of Famer as their comp. Russell is a complete outlier in Wisconsin history, Big Ten history, and NFL history. Go look at the video. Russell Wilson against the Philadelphia Eagles Sunday night. It looks like he's a great high school player against other high school players. It's not the same. And I talked to him yesterday, and it just doesn't even look like NFL football. I talked to him yesterday about Brady, about Carson Wentz, about how he trains, how long he wants to play. And the first thing I said is Russell, after a game like Sunday where you're running for your life and you're getting pounded on, when do you get back to feeling like yourself?
Man, that's a great question. Well, I get tons of work on my body constantly, but I would say probably Thursday I'm feeling pretty good. But, Sunday night I can't sleep because my adrenaline's rolling and I'm feeling all amped up and everything else, hopefully because it's off of a win. And then, Monday I get up early, swim early in the morning. That really helps my body recover, drink tons of water, and then just continue to keep my body active. I get a good lift in Tuesday, kind of the same thing. Wednesday is our first real practice again, and you're still feeling sore. And then by Thursday, I'm feeling pretty good. So it takes about a good 4 days.
It's funny. Tom Brady, I think, only eats kale now, and I know when he wasn't on this perfect diet when he was 23. Was there a moment, Russell, when you're like, okay, I really got to watch and protect my body? What I eat, what I do with it.
I've really been starting to focus on it really this past off season. Really, speaking of Tom, I had a great conversation with him and just talking to him about his longevity and everything else, because I love great players and I love getting to know them and everything else and what they've done and just kind of getting knowledge from him about what he's done. And for me, I'm very passionate about trying to be one of the best in the world, and it's something that from eating right to training like crazy to making sure that you have a purpose, and what you're doing and everything that you're doing. And so, it's been a great off season for me. I had an unbelievable off season. I hired a full-time trainer, Decker Davis. I get to work on my shoulder, my body, my legs, and constantly getting work done and everything else. And so I think that's something that I've definitely have invested in, and something that really, really matters, because the reality is I want to play till I'm 45. I want to play and win multiple Super Bowls. And to do that, you have to do that now. You have to, you have to have that maintenance on that car almost every day.
Sure.
It's important, whether it's in season or out of season.
Russell Wilson, who I said before is I put him neck and neck as the MVP of this league, not just because I grew up in Seattle, but I just think, Russell, you're one of the greatest football players I've ever seen. And,
that's a big compliment. Thank you, my man.
You bet. And when I first met you, I told you, I said, you're going to run this league, forget play in about 20 years. I have a football question. You can go complicated here. Greg Cosell's a friend of mine, and we talk about video all the time. And he said sometimes it looks as though the Seahawks have a designed scramble for Russell. Do you design plays that may look to the common guy like me as a pass play, but it is really a little flag football where you want your receivers to peel off? It is a design chaos play.
No, we don't. We actually don't have any of those. There's none of those in the playbook. When you see me scrambling and spinning out and doing that kind of stuff, that is not planned. That is
running for your life.
that is in the midst of chaos. And so I think that's kind of just playing ball and making things happen.
Russell, when you're running, I notice you do something. You always keep your eyes downfield. Now, that's easier said than done because you got, J.J. Watt level guys chasing you, and those Philadelphia guys, they like to squash you. So when you're running around and you're keeping your eyes downfield, you must have some sensory feel for, you can sense guys are around you because you're running around, eyes down the field, and yet kind of moving through a maze. When did that click for you?
You want to know something really funny, Colin? So, first of all, I think that a lot of it is obviously instincts, and I thank God for the gifts that He's given me, and then obviously just trusting the guys to continue to block their tails off, and then also guys to get open. The funny thing is I look back to when I was a young kid. You're gonna laugh when I say this, but when I was a young kid, I used to go to the mall, and there used to be a mall in Richmond, Virginia. I think it's still there. It's called Regency Mall.
Yeah.
I used to go to the mall, and it used to be packed. I mean, it used to be packed. Right after school, I would go almost every day. As everybody's coming at you, going to the next store or whatever, in the main hallway of the mall, I would kind of weave in and out and spin, and people look at me like, "What is this kid doing? What is this like little midget of a kid doing?" I'm probably 8 years old, like juking and diving, but it was me like in my head making moves, as if I was an NFL player. Playing ball and making moves, and so that's I just worked on my visualization from when I was a young kid.
Carson Wentz, minute, impressions of what you saw.
Gamer, baller, can do a lot of things. He's gonna be great for a long time, I thought our defense did a really good job against him because he's a really good player. And to only hold those guys to 10 points was pretty phenomenal. When you think about our defense and what we were able to do, and they've been scoring 30-plus points a game or whatever they were scoring. But in terms of who Carson is as a player, I think he's a special player, and I can't wait to see him play. It's going to be cool to go up against him for many years to come.
Russell Wilson yesterday, I'll say it, there have been about 15 athletes in this league that are just different. Walter Payton was just different. Ronnie Lott was just different. Aaron Rodgers, not a lot of them. He's one of them. He's just remarkable. And you see, I got nothing against Baker Mayfield and Johnny Manziel, but cocky 5-11 guys that aren't as disciplined, that aren't as athletic, that have a police video, the comp is off. This kid walked into Wisconsin, a conservative football program, and put up the best Big Ten quarterback numbers I can remember in a decade. I mean, Wisconsin defines conservative football. Oklahoma guys always have big numbers because they have so many great players, and that conference is a pillow fight.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from the newest show on FS1, First Things First, with Chris Carter and Nick Wright.